While the whole world argues over the latest hyped sneakers and streetwear drops, a quieter and far older market has been turning faded old work clothes into serious money. A single pair of beat-up antique jeans can sell for more than a luxury car. Faded jackets that miners and farmers once wore until they fell apart are now hunted by collectors with deep pockets. And the smart money has noticed. While everyone stares at the loud, trendy end of fashion, real investors have been slipping into the vintage workwear world, treating it less like clothing and more like rare art. So why is plain old workwear suddenly worth a fortune, and who is really cashing in? Why would anyone pay a fortune for worn-out work clothes? Start with the number that stops people cold. A single pair of jeans from the 1800s once sold at auction for more than $80,000. Not a designer pair, not a celebrity pair, just an old, stiff, faded set of work jeans made well over a century ago. To most people, that sounds insane. To collectors, it makes perfect sense, and the reason comes down to one word: scarcity. Workwear was never meant to last. It was made to be worn hard, ripped up, and thrown away. Miners, railroad workers, and farmers used these clothes until they were destroyed. That means almost none of the early pieces survived. The few that did are like accidental time capsules, the last living examples of how things were truly made before factories changed everything. On top of that, the old construction is part of the appeal. The heavy fabric, the hidden rivets, the tiny details that modern brands have copied for decades. All of it started here. Collectors are not buying old pants. They are buying the original blueprint. The clothes were built to be used up, which is exactly why the survivors are now priceless. How did this market grow up in the shadows? Here is what most people miss. This is not a new craze. It has been quietly building for decades, mostly far from the spotlight. For years, some of the most serious vintage workwear collectors in the world were based in Japan. They developed an obsession with American workwear, studying every stitch and seam with incredible care. They paid top prices for the best pieces and helped turn faded denim into a respected, almost scholarly field. While American shoppers chased whatever was new, these collectors were quietly buying up the past. Dealers went to extreme lengths to feed the demand. People have literally dug through old mine shafts and torn open the walls of abandoned buildings, hoping to find a pair of forgotten jeans stuffed inside as insulation 100 years ago. A lucky find could be worth a small fortune. All of this happened without the noise that surrounds streetwear. No giant ad campaigns, no celebrity drops, just a small, knowledgeable world trading rare pieces among people who understood their value. And that quiet was part of the appeal. It kept prices climbing while the wider public looked the other way. While the crowd chased the loudest trends, a hidden market was busy turning history into treasure. So why is bigger money moving in now? This is where things shift. The vintage world is no longer just collectors and hobbyists. Bigger, more serious money has started paying attention, and it is treating workwear like an investment, not a wardrobe. The logic is simple. In recent years, investors have learned that rare physical things can hold and grow their value when other markets get shaky. Fine art, rare watches, classic cars, even old sneakers. These are sometimes called alternative assets, and the idea is that a one-of-a-kind object can be a smart place to park money. Vintage workwear fits that idea almost perfectly. Think about why. The supply can never increase. No one can make a genuine antique pair of jeans today. Demand keeps rising as the story spreads and new buyers enter from around the world. A supply that only shrinks plus a demand that keeps growing is the exact recipe that sends prices up over time. To an investor, that looks a lot like a rare painting that happens to be made of denim. So the same kind of careful, calculating money that hunts undervalued assets has started eyeing the racks. They are not buying to wear. They are buying to hold, betting that the best pieces will be worth far more years from now. To the smart money, the rarest workwear is not fashion at all. It is a shrinking pile of treasure that gets more valuable every year. But is this a real investment or just a bubble waiting to pop? This is the question every cautious person should ask. When prices climb fast and big money rushes in, sometimes it is a genuine market, and sometimes it is a balloon about to burst. So which is this? The honest answer is that it carries real risk, just like any collectible. Fashion tastes can change. A piece that feels priceless today might cool off tomorrow. Fakes and clever reproductions are a constant danger, and one wrong buy can cost a fortune. Unlike a stock, a pair of jeans does not pay you anything while you hold it. It just sits there, hopefully gaining value. But there are reasons to think the strongest pieces are more solid than a passing fad. The true antiques are tied to history, not just trend, and history does not go out of style. The market has already survived decades without crashing. And the very best examples are so rare that there will always be a small group of serious buyers competing for them. The likely truth is somewhere in the middle. The rarest, most documented, most historic pieces behave like blue-chip art and tend to hold their value. The cheaper, trendier end is where the bubble risk really lives, where prices can rise on hype and fall just as fast. As always, the difference between a smart buy and a costly mistake comes down to knowledge. The legends of the market may keep climbing, but the hype at the bottom is where dreams go to deflate. So what does this mean for the average person who just likes old clothes? Here is the encouraging part. You do not need to chase the $80,000 jeans to take part. The same forces that drive the top of the market also touch the everyday vintage rack. A well-made old jacket or a sturdy pair of work pants can be better built, longer lasting, and more unique than most new clothing, often for less money. The investor logic and the shopper logic quietly overlap. The real takeaway is to look at old things with fresh eyes. While everyone races toward the newest release, value often hides in the well-worn, the overlooked, and the built to last. You do not have to be a collector to win. You just have to stop assuming that new always means better. So here is the real lesson hiding in those faded old jeans. The loudest part of fashion is almost never where the smartest money goes. While crowds fight over the newest hyped release, the people who truly understand value are looking in the opposite direction, at the quiet, the old, and the rare. They know that scarcity beats noise every single time. A thing that can never be made again will always have buyers. A thing that drops in unlimited numbers eventually will not. Vintage workwear turned this idea into reality. Clothes built to be destroyed became some of the most valuable garments on Earth, simply because so few survived and so many people came to want them. The streetwear hype will rise and fall and rise again. But the last surviving pair of 100-year-old jeans is only getting rarer and only getting more expensive. The crowd watches the trend. the smart money buys the thing the world can never make again. If you want to know where the smart money is moving before everyone else catches on, subscribe right now, because that is exactly what this channel digs into. Hit that like button to help more sharp minds find it. And tell everyone in the comments what overlooked market you think is about to take off. See you in the next one.